What's up, everyone, and welcome back to... Oops. Crap.
Why does this always happen?
Because after my last show, I'll unmute the YouTube audio so I can gather timestamps, and then I'll forget to remute it. And so the stream will start playing back.
My God. You're supposed to be a professional.
I'll fucking get it right.
Where is everybody?
I don't know. I'm not seeing anybody. You know, it's probably my fault. We've missed so many episodes in a row.
It's okay. We can talk into the void.
They're forgetting that the pickup line is still here. Sorry, we've been absent. Largely, probably on me.
It's totally, well, I was kind of not, I wasn't fighting it. You were like, let's take some time off. I'm like, all right, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like to be here, but it's like, when you have to do anything I have to do, I never want to do, even if it's like fun.
Yeah. And then it's like, after I do an episode, I'm always immediately happy afterwards. I'm like, yeah, that went good. Yeah. It was fun. But when you're suffering from depression and you have to be on camera, it makes it really difficult at times.
Sometimes the hardest thing is to just like get up and do it as someone who has depression. And that's what we're going to talk about today, guys, is depression and relationships and that whole thing. So if you're here, I don't know if anyone's watching, but 951-364-24.
You sure about that?
30. Okay. Whoa.
Oh, all right, Hannah, you know what we have to do after the show?
We have to
resync StreamYard to your Facebook so we can stream to our Facebook pages again.
Was that really necessary to say right now?
No, I guess that's not really necessary. I don't want to forget.
No, that's okay. I will remind you. It's good that you're telling me at all because now I will remember. But anyway, dating and relationships has been like really and I always want to say this, we're not like mental health professionals. We just happen to both be two like mentally ill people who share experience, and apparently it helps some people. So I guess we'll just continue to share our truths and hope people gain something from it, or at least feel less alone. I think that's why we do this and why I continue to. I think it's important. Anyway, so my whole life, not my whole life, it's not like I started dating when I was little, but pretty young.
Oh, wait, Hannah.
Oh my God.
At what age was your first kiss? Tongue.
Okay, my first kiss was like when I was like 3, but my first like kiss where I was like, I want to kiss a boy, was when I was 14. Ugh. Gross.
You didn't like it?
I don't like that person.
Oh, how come?
Because he's a piece of crap. Because he's a terrible human being, and I don't say that a lot about people, but like some people are genuinely not good people.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't really ever think about that person, but when I do, I'm always like, oh God. So anyway, that was my first kiss. My kiss after that was fantastic. It was with his best friend, so it was like also kind of my. He was also kind of my best friend, and is like to this day still one of my favorite people in the world. So, but anyway, I didn't realize I knew I was depressed, kind of. I didn't really know what depression was, but I knew that like I was unhappy. And then when I started to like hear about like depression and stuff, and when I started to be emo and like that whole community online is like very like, I don't know. It's like I found people and like forums I could relate to. And like when my parents would find them, would be like, why are you looking up this stuff? Like you're trying to be blah, blah, like edgy basically. And I'm like, because I want to fucking commit slip and slide. And I don't know. No one else relates to that. So it's like, it probably wasn't the best place to get information. It probably was kind of enabling it in a way. But it just seemed like this big dirty secret I had that I was like, I kind of paraded it because I was emo, but it kind of, I don't know, it gave me like a sense of pride to be emo because I was like a really sad person, but like because no one, and this made it worse, like no one took the fact that I was depressed seriously. So I like did what any other teenager did and like dressed like a punk because I was like so like emotionally damaged that like I had to show it on the outside basically.
Were people like essentially, they weren't taking it seriously, like invalidating your depression?
People just thought I wanted attention.
Mm.
Like, if I was, like, being, because I'm a really bubbly person, so people are like, "How
Right.
can you be depressed?" And I'm like, "Huge misconception. Um, I'm, behind locked doors, like, super not okay." And, so anyway, I didn't get diagnosed with depression until I was 23, but I've known for a long time that like, when I finally talked to a doctor, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're fucking depressed, dude." Like, very chronic, clinical, severe. But I'm on medication now. That works for some people. It worked for me. It has become manageable. It has not been cured. It has not gone away. I have bad days, but it's become manageable.
So that's a myth I used to believe. I used to claim that I beat depression because I came out of a really bad one that lasted several years, and I
Right.
was on this massive, like, high for quite a long time,
Mhm.
and, um, it was just, like, constantly staying up, and then eventually I think it took, like, a year where I eventually I just finally crashed hardcore, and then I started, like, suffering from regular bouts again, and I am now seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist,
That's
yay.
fantastic. Very
I
good.
know. I don't know how I feel about the therapy appointments so far, like,
It
maybe
can
I
be
need to
weird.
well, I just feel like I'm okay, and maybe this is a problem on my end, but I just feel like I'm complaining when I'm talking to a therapist.
Oh my god. So, that's really funny you say that because I apologized to my therapist for trauma dumping on her, and she was like, "I'm your therapist." Like, I felt like I was being a big fat whiner, and,
Right.
yeah, so it's kind because I think people tell you, like, "Stop complaining." Like, "You have a good life, you shouldn't
Right.
feel this way." And
Nope, you've
just
got this, you've got this, you've got this, you got everything to live for. You
and people
shouldn't be
don't
depressed.
realize, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. People don't realize, thank you, Native Atheist, for the, $5
Yeah, thank you so much.
plancha. So, people don't realize that I think that maybe they're trying to help by saying, "But look at all the good that's going on in your life." It's like, that makes me feel so guilty. Like, it makes it worse because I'm like, "Yes, I realize that I'm very fortunate." And, I blame myself for being depressed. Like, I'm not trying hard enough, and that I have no excuse. Uh, my excuse is that my brain is wired in a way to where I have a hard time getting up sometimes. Um, so it's just, it is what it is. I think, I mean, there's so many factors that it's in my case, from what I think and feel, um, based on what I know, is it runs in my family, first of all. And two, I had a lot of childhood trauma. So those things typically lead to mental illness. And I fought really hard to get to a place in my life where I am now, where I'm really secure and happy, whatever that fucking means. But, like, I still have depression,
Sure.
and, like I said, I'm medicated. I see a psychiatrist and a therapist. Well, I don't have health insurance right now, so I don't see a psychiatrist, but
And you can't
but a
you
primary care
you
physician refills my meds, so it's fine for now.
isn't it nice when you have, like, a good primary who will, like, back you up when you can't get or don't have a psychiatrist available to prescribe those meds?
Oh, yeah, because I think, for anyone who doesn't know, like, having a regular prescription that you need to manage, like, is really hard, to begin with, because sometimes I have a hard time just taking care of myself, but then when you get into roadblocks of, like, "Oh, for some reason your premium what didn't go through, and it's gonna take this many hours for it to work, and there was you for some reason lost your meds, and it's too soon for you to go pick up your new meds." And it's just like it can be really, really hard even when you're trying. So, this person says, online strips without clothing and a bunch of wet
No,
emojis.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
You've come to the right place. Too bad you're a bot.
Thank you. Thank you, Secular Rarity, jumping on
Yeah,
that
thank you
real
very
quick.
much. But it's one thing to deal with it on your own, but when you bring someone into your life who wants to be close to you, it can be really hard. Especially when, before I started to get treatment, I did not know how to articulate at all what was going on with me. I was not communicating effectively, and it just was causing problems because I didn't realize, like, oh, like sometimes the things I would say were not rooted in reality. And we'll talk about, the difference
What do you
between
mean by that?
um it's hard for me to say because I do think that we talked a little bit off camera before this about how you need to learn how to not, like, as a partner, who, if you're trying to support someone with depression, don't blame their concerns on, oh, you just have depression, like, and, oh my god, have you taken your meds today, when, like, they might have a valid concern.
Yes,
um but when I would start to spiral and think, I will never be happy. I have never been happy. And happiness is a distraction from all the terrible things that are going on in life that I have no control over. So I'm basically going to curl up in a ball and die because there's nothing I can do about it. That's kind of what I'm talking about when it's like, yeah, the world might be really freaking terrible, but like, you can't do anything about it. So you might as well try to just like do your freaking best to not go mad while you're here.
right.
Um,
And try to enjoy life as much as possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, you only get one, man. And I think kind of the whole atheism thing kind of plays into that too. It's like
Oh, dude,
yeah.
atheism and I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was kind of tailing off there. Go for it.
Atheism and YouTubing has probably been like my savior throughout COVID because I would have
Mhm.
like sunk much lower than I did had I not had like these outlets to
Yeah.
talk and to, help push other voices and create fun shows and just, I don't
Be
know,
part of
have a good
something.
time, learn, be a part of something, try to make a difference, hoping to
Mhm.
make a difference. Um,
Yeah.
Meeting people that, like, while I'm sad that I can't see you all the time, Hannah, like, I wish I lived by you so much.
I'll see you
Um,
soon. Don't worry.
yeah, definitely. Um, it's
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah, I just wish you
mhm.
like, we lived closer so we could hang out a lot more.
I wish that too. You know that. I have a hard
And
time when I get depressed isolating myself. I don't That's something because I really here's the thing is I have to find the balance between, putting myself out there so I don't spiral further, but also not totally putting myself in a situation where I'm gonna have a panic attack. Because I've had people be like, "Oh, you're not doing well today? I'm coming over," or "We're coming to get you," and I would just start, like, wanting to cry because it's like, I literally that is the worst thing that you could do to me right now is, like, make because I know it depends on who it is. If my mom showed up, like, sometimes my mom would show up to my house back in California, uh, with, like, chicken strips and, like, some vitamin water and, like, open my blinds and then, like, leave, and I'd be like, "Holy shit," like, that's what I needed. And then there's some people who, like, weren't as close to me, or and she could walk in and, like, see my house totally just a absolute disaster because she knows, like, I'm having a hard time taking care of myself, and I don't feel like, "Oh god, she's, like, gonna be grossed out by this because like, she's my mom, she knows me.
right.
Versus, like, someone I'm not as close to being like, "Oh, you're canceling these plans because you can't get out of bed? I'm coming over." And I'm like, "You don't
Mm,
understand that I have maggots in my sink." Like, I'm not even trying to be funny right now. Like, I have, like, gotten to that point where, like, you would walk in my house and be like, "Wow, someone was squatting here," or, like,
damn,
something
are you
not cool is going
serious?
on. Yeah, like, I've been really bad before, like, full blown, like, trash everywhere, like, things growing in my sink, like, I'm it's embarrassing to admit, and then, like, totally cleaning myself up and, like, acting totally fine at work and then coming home and just, like, laying down and, like, closing myself off and just, like, eating, like, dry top ramen to, like, stay alive.
Dry top ramen? What's dry top ramen?
Oh, top ramen is, like, a brand of, like, ramen noodles that, like, you just, like,
Oh,
microwave.
okay, sorry, I thought you
But
said dry like
I would be so depressed that, like, I would just crunch them up and just, like, eat them like chips and, like, put the
wait,
seasoning on.
seriously?
A lot of people do it, like, as a snack, like, it's, like, a really salty, crunchy snack, but, like, yo, depression meals, I don't know. A lot of people have like their own, like, you ever just like make like cinnamon toast or like put like popcorn seasoning on pasta? Because like you just,
Popcorn season no. I'm trying to think of what my
dude,
depression meals are. I guess I snack a lot more when I'm depressed,
yeah.
and I get, like, this, uh, appetite that, like, just is hard to suppress, which is weird because some people I guess it hmm,
I would like get well,
it
yeah.
can
Well,
go
no,
either
depression
way
can
for me.
cause overeating or undereating.
Yeah, that's
Basically, you just are
sometimes
not being healthy.
right. Sometimes it is I don't eat at all, and then sometimes I'm like, I can't stop eating.
Yeah. No, I've gone through, like, both of that, and it's like it's one or the other. Like, but, like,
Yeah.
the fact of the thought of, like, getting up and planning a meal and then, like, eating it is like, "Oh my god, I can't," and then I would just get to a point where I'd be like, "I'm so starving, I need, like, calories," and just eat, like, crackers, you know? So it's and, that is really hard to it's really hard to be like that when you are trying to date. Uh There was a point in my life where the only time my house was clean was when I knew I had a Tinder date or Thomas was coming to town, and I don't know, I think I've told him this before, like, I was literally, like, so bad when you first met me, like, my house would be a disaster, and I would, like, spend 8 hours, like, the day before it's cleaning, and, like, he'd
Oh,
be like, "Oh, your house is so nice," and it's like, "Yeah, it's always fucking like this." And, I have gotten better, and if he's listening, he'd probably scoff at that because our house is a disaster right now, but there's no maggots in the sink.
well,
It's
that's
it's
good. I
it's
mean, that's a
it's messy.
plus.
It's messy, but it's not, like, disgusting. It's just, it needs some tidying. I should, there's some laundry that could be done.
So I've never gotten that bad because I would freak out. Like, that would probably make me more depressed.
Oh, it does make me more depressed, but the thought of, like, tackling that would just, I would just sleep to not think about it. You know what I mean?
Right. See,
And
when I'm depressed, which usually is followed by anxiety, I can't sleep. Like, I'm
mm,
just so, like my brain won't shut down that I can barely sleep, like, unless
that's
I take
why,
something.
that's why you rub one out and just pass out.
I've tried that. It doesn't work, man. There's times I'm
Man,
like,
that
"Alright,
sucks. You don't fucking, like, stress fap and just pass out?
I've tried it. It helps with the stress a little bit, but
But you won't go to
it's
sleep?
never really made me like, "Huh, okay, I can pass out now."
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't wanna say, like, "You're fucking different and weird," but it's just that's not an experience that I've heard a lot of. Most
Hmm,
people I know get tired right after, and they're like, good night."
no. It like I
Interesting.
said, it relaxes me a little bit, but I don't get tired. So,
Mm.
that would
They're
be
like, "Good
nice
night." Yeah.
if I
Well,
could
I'm
just
not condoning just, like, fap, sleep, repeat kinda behavior, but, like, sometimes you gotta do what you
no,
gotta
no,
do.
no, no, no.
What I'm saying is if that's something that you're going through, like, you're not alone. Don't be ashamed, like, you probably why is this person trying to online strips without clothing? What kind of strips? Chicken strips?
I don't know, they're just a spam bot, it looks like.
I know, but they came back.
I
Anyway,
don't know how they came back.
um, basically, it's like my point of saying all this is that, like, a lot of people get to a really low point that they are too ashamed for anyone to ever know about, and,
Sorry, secular rarity. Does masturbating make you sleepy? Call us and tell us about it.
do you use
951-364-2430.
or if you masturbate to avoid doing your dishes, give us a call because 'cause you're not alone. 'Cause, like, wouldn't you rather like, here's the thing oh my god, this person.
Dude,
"Girls here, streamer
they've been
recommends."
blocked.
Yeah,
How are they
we
still commenting?
they probably are making new shit. It's totally fine. Like, I don't think anyone, in our audience is gonna be like, "Wow, that sounds legit." But it is annoying.
It is annoying.
So, um, basic I got distracted by fucking naked girl party. Um,
Yeah, that totally pulled us off topic.
oh, that's what
Uh,
I was gonna say, is that, like, here's the thing, like, wouldn't you rather like, when you are so depressed, like, you don't wanna live, like, wouldn't you rather do something, like, that gives you, like, endorphins rather than, like, "Ugh, I gotta get up and clean." Which, like, after you clean, it does feel good because it's done, and it's like, it's a, breath of fresh air, but it's freaking hard sometimes to just, like, function, dude.
Right.
Um, but I was also really on, like, a bunch of really weird meds at the time that were not working. Um
I after actually getting on medication that helps treat my mental illnesses, I couldn't imagine going back. Like, I've actually thought about, like, what it would be like to not have insurance or, be able to afford a doctor right now, and I would be freaking out because this medicine has really, like, even though I'm not where I wanna be, the medication has really helped me out so much that to the point that I can't imagine going back to how it was inside my brain before. It was just pure chaos. It's still chaos, but it's a little bit less chaos with
but
the
it's like
medication.
it's livable, it's survivable
Yeah,
chaos,
but, like,
like,
if I
functioning
lost my
chaos.
insurance, man, dude, I couldn't afford all this medication that I'm currently on. Like,
Right.
no way, especially one of them, there's no generic for. Um,
Oh, no.
yeah, so if I lose my insurance or my job, I'm totally fucked.
That's the other thing too is that, like, I really feel for people who don't have insurance or don't have the means to get the kinda help that they need, and I try to think of, like, alternatives, and it's I wish that I could speak more on that. I guess, like, the only thing I can really say is, like, well, I have a bad habit of doing this, like, trying to sometimes it is good to isolate yourself and just, like, go through it and just, like, let the ugly be ugly where, like, you feel safe. But if there's anyone that you can reach out to who you trust, um, like, you shouldn't it's so much easier said than done because like, no one should have to go through this completely alone, and
Mhm.
in a way, I kinda did, but I also had, I had to figure it out. I was an adult, like, getting diagnosed, in my 20s, but I did find a way to communicate what was going on with me with people and, uh expressing, like, what I needed, because I didn't know for a long time, and that's different for everyone, but, sometimes you need a little help, um, just or at least
Agreed.
having someone be aware that you're going through this to, like, check up on you, and maybe you'll find someone who will be like, "Oh, holy crap, like, I know I have this connection and this, doctor or this really cheap insurance." I'd, like, just reach out and make connections, and, like, you'd be surprised what you might find. Or they'll find something that's totally an alternative. Like you might meet someone who's going through the same thing and they go like, "Look, here's what I do." Um,
Well, I
Go for it.
think one of the important takeaways is to remember that if you're in a relationship with a partner who suffers from depression, is remember it is a mental illness, and you can't just expect them to shake it off.
Right.
That's not how depression works.
Not at
I,
all.
I think it's best to ask, what you can do to support them. Try to get to know your partner more. Find out things that make them feel more supported or things that may be triggering to them so you can avoid those topics or conversations and try and make them as happy as possible and
Yeah.
during that time.
But I do want to like totally point this out is that like it's not your job to be someone's happiness and having a mental illness does not excuse bad behavior. Um but it can explain like the root cause of why someone is behaving the way they are. But it doesn't just go, "Ah, well, I'm depressed." So like, you know what I mean? Um if you're willing to just like write it off as depression every time and not do anything about it, like that's not a depression issue. That's a behavior that's like a integrity issue. That's a maturity issue is what I'm saying. But at the same time, like y- there's if you wake up and you're feeling bad one day, that's fine. Like it's valid, you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't feel forced to get up and fake it. Um and you're allowed to feel bad. You're allowed to feel bad. Um I hope that made sense. Like there's just a huge difference between like yeah, you feel that way because you're, battling depression and it's freaking scary and it can be hard. It can make you do some crazy things, but you still need to take responsibility for things and try to figure out how to, you know, live with this balance that while you have depression, find a way where you are not taking everyone down with you. And that can be really hard because I've been that person. So, but it starts with recognizing that there's a problem. So, yeah, because I mean, I've just met a lot of people who like are just like, but I'm depressed, and then like never, and they just make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And I'm like, you're gonna end up with no one, and that's heartbreaking because like I get that like you having depression isn't your fault, but
You can
like
push everybody away.
you can push everybody, and that's the really sad thing about depression is like it's this you do sometimes have this instinct to push everyone away, and I think as soon as people can recognize that they're doing that, it's not like, oh, I've recognized I'm doing that, so now it's better. It's like that's the first step, and it's
Right.
a long journey from there. But I don't know. Hopefully everyone's trying their best.
The next point I wanted to touch on, and this is mainly because it's a learning opportunity for me, so might be a chance for somebody else, is when your partner suffers from depression, it is important to remember to be flexible in your plans, and that sometimes the things you do plan won't come through. This one has always been particularly hard for me if I'm excited about something because I mean, Hannah, I believe you're similar in this. Like when you get hyper fixated on something and really
Mhm.
excited, you're like amped. You like it's not a want, it's a need. You like
You're
have
freaking
to do it.
jazzed.
Yeah, and then like when that gets taken away, you go from this extreme high to this extreme low, and then you're just I don't know if this happens to you, but this is what happens to me. I get so fucking bummed out, and it's so hard to shake myself out of it. And it's something I really do need to actively work on because again, well, I'm in a relationship with someone who also suffers from depression.
Mhm.
So that is something that I uh,
Right.
need to put more work into is being understanding
Mhm.
when plans don't go through.
Yeah, which can be hard because Thomas and I have had kind of this like have experienced that where like he'll want to do something and it's like, yo, I freaking cannot like bring myself to do that. Um, but it's also kind of my responsibility to be like, you know, I'm an adult, and if whatever we were gonna do makes you happy, you can still go do it. But I need to take care of me right now. And that can be really hard. Um, it's just relationships in general, whether you're have a mental illness or not, are about compromise and you know
Right.
give and take sometimes. But I do want to go back to what you were talking about a minute ago, if that's okay, about kind of like recognizing it's a mental illness and validating their concerns and not just
Right.
writing it off as, oh, but you're depressed, so therefore you can't have accurate opinions and feelings. Um, yeah, I used to have this thing where, or Thomas has asked me, he says, is it offensive if I ask you if you've taken your meds? Because sometimes you get really revved up and I'll find out that you haven't taken your meds. And I'm like, oh, this could have been avoided. And he's right. Uh, I think my valids are still super. Sorry, I looked at the chat and okay. What was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, so
This crap, I should have been ready to pick it up.
no,
Thomas
I got it. I
asked
got
about
it.
the medication. Oh,
So my emotions are pretty high. And he will ask if I've taken my meds and realizes I haven't. And instead of getting upset, I have to be like, you're right. Because I know how I get when I haven't taken my meds. It's very hard to be around me. It's hard to be around myself. So he had to ask me, like, is it offensive if I ask that? And for me personally, it's helpful. And I said, as long as you are just asking to make sure, like it's like a check-in, like, okay, have you taken your meds? Like step number one. If you haven't, go take them and we can continue this conversation and see if you still feel this way. Or, okay, let's address this. It's just like it's we both have to acknowledge that like I do act kind of unhinged when I don't take my meds and take things to the next level, or spiral really, really low, or, feel like, oh my God. Well, and it's also I have anxiety too. So I'm always like, everyone hates me, everything's terrible. But it's also,
Dude, anxiety, man,
Mhm.
it just convinces you of the utmost bullshit about yourself.
Yeah. And
What you drinking, by the way?
I'm drinking a peach cider.
Ooh,
It's all right. I'm not really a huge
I
cider
could go
person,
for a
but I wanted something to sip on that was kind of sweet. Mm,
I could
cool
kinda go
down.
for that right now.
Yeah, I love it. Um, but so him asking me, "Have you taken your meds?" is not being like, it's like saying like, "Are you on your period or something?" You know what I mean? Like, I have been asked it in that way before, where it's like, "There's no way this can be that big of a deal because you're obviously just going through something," and that is so like invalidating and belittling. Um, But so I guess it just depends on the person if that's, like, offensive or not. People who are close to me, I appreciate it when they ask me because typically I will be like, "Holy shit, you're right, I haven't." And it's a reminder. And sometimes I'll take my meds and be like, "You know what? I'm still upset about this." But there is a handful of times where I've taken my meds and been like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Well, at least you apologize.
Mm,
That's important.
sometimes. I am kind of a little brat sometimes, but,
I
I
could
try to.
totally see that.
No, I'm a huge brat, but Thomas, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but he says I'm the most emotionally immature person he's ever met. Most emotionally mature person he's ever met, and I will wear that crown to the day I die, but I'm a fucking brat.
Thomas
Like,
Westbrook said that?
Thomas Westbrook said I'm the most emotionally. Actually, I think that he's wrong because I bet you that Eric Murphy's probably the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet. I don't know if you've ever,
Really?
like, if you've ever had a heart to heart with Eric Murphy, you'll fucking know, like, like, he has talked me off the ledge many times. Uh, yeah, no,
Oh,
he's a great person. But anyway, uh, I think also so I guess kinda switching gears and building off of what we've been talking about, I have you ever felt this way or met someone who seems this way where they kind of go for people who are broken and we're like, I will take care of them and I'll
I will
fix all
save
their
you.
I will save you and your sadness. And then they get into a relationship with them and they go, wait, but you're still sad. What the fuck? Like,
You're
I've
not
been
supposed
with
to be
guys who
sad
have been,
anymore.
yeah, you're not supposed to be sad. I'm supposed to save you. And it's like, realize that like depression, if you have like clinical chronic depression, because people go through depression, something will happen and they are depressed. But depression, like as a mental illness, doesn't just kind of, you have your good and bad days, good and bad periods, but like expect that you're gonna have to work through stuff. It's different for everyone. Some people have already figured it out, but as someone who got diagnosed at 23, no, no one's gonna save me except myself. Uh, I don't need saving. I'm very, I don't know.
You're a strong, independent woman.
I don't need nobody except my
Um,
puppy.
so another thing depression can accept not accept, can oh my god, I hate when this happens. Another thing depression can affect is your sex life. So it
Yup. Oh my god.
so it's, again, it's another area, it's where it's important to be very understanding that,
Mhm.
because I know, like, when I get, like, super depressed, I'm not in the mood for sex. Like, I know people like to say, "Well, guys are always in the mood." No, that's not really true. Most of the time I am, but,
Hold on.
like,
Meet Mathew in the house.
"Dude, what's up, Ameet?
Sorry, had to
Are
say
you
that.
hizzy for
Just
shizzy?"
and I have to
Dude,
say, if you didn't see his interview with Neil 604 Atheist, you're missing out. That after party was fun as well. So,
it
Neil
was.
604 Atheist interviewed Ameet Mathew, and what an incredible person! I just love him so much.
I know, he's
Both of
such a
them.
good dude. He's another
Yeah.
person I wish we, like, lived close to. Ameet, let's go move to Austin.
Everybody.
Everybody. Let's
And
all
I'm so
just say
sorry.
that.
You're absolutely right. Depression does affect your libido a lot of the times. It can affect it one way or the other, and then there's that whole thing where if you get medicated, that could throw a whole wrench in the whole thing too.
Right. So then you're like, you're not wanting to have sex because you're depressed, but then once you get an antidepressant,
You're
that
like,
can
"I feel
also
better, but I'm still not horny.
right.
Hey, who
And
want
then it
me?"
can also have other side effects, like for, I women, it can cause dryness, difficulty
Mhm.
orgasming. Um, it
And
can
for
cause
men, it can make your pee-pee not stand up.
that is true. It can cause
Mhm.
erectile dysfunction. I've
Yep.
been there. It absolutely sucks. It's the worst thing.
And it's so crazy. It's like, would you rather n do you wanna okay, wait, how am I trying to phrase this? You wanna
I'm
die
very
or do you wanna have sex? You wanna die or you wanna have sex?
I like, okay,
You
so
can't have
here's an
both.
example where I'm not willing to sacrifice sex. I told my psychiatrist, I'm like, "I need an ADHD medicine, but I refuse to have one that will affect me sexually." I'm like, I can't do it. I can't give up my sex life
See,
because
I haven't found a medication that won't make me, like, be okay with I don't know. We have to have an episode on the fact that my therapist thinks I'm asexual. Well, suggested that I am in the asexual spectrum, and I agree. Um, that's a whole nother episode. So, but at the same time, I'm on freaking Lexapro, and like anyone who's on it knows you're like, no sex for me. I'm a good Christian woman.
so it makes you, I
Just
mean,
no sex drive.
we shouldn't say our medications publicly, but the
Oh, I'm so
medicine
sorry.
you're
I'm so
on,
sorry.
that's
Okay.
okay.
I'm not
Um,
on it. That's not what
I
I'm on. I lied.
the
I'm on
medication you're
weed.
on, is affecting your, sex drive?
Wait, why though? Why don't we say that? I'm just curious. Like, I don't disagree,
Because
but
we
like, I'm
don't
curious.
want to accidentally endorse something where someone's like, "Hey," they go to their doctor and, "Hey,
Oh, and they're
Hannah
like,
or
"Hannah
Ethan."
Vaughn's on this, so I
Yeah,
should take
and
this."
it's working for her, so, it'll work for me too. Like, we want people going to their doctors and their doctors prescribing them recommendations, not
Okay, well, I'll just let you know that a lot of people have taken the same thing as me and have fucking hated it, so it's different for everyone. But that's okay. Now that I get it, rule of thumb, cool, won't do it. But, yeah, keep in mind that,
I
like, what
learned
works for me may not work for you. Like, my best friend, like, recently was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and I was like, "This is what I take," and then she's on something completely different, and it's totally fine for her, and I'm like, "When I took that, I freaking hated my shit," so, I didn't hate my shit, but I hated I say shit as
right.
my life. So, it's just, like it's different for everyone. You got that is between you and your doctor to make that decision, not me. Why'd I hear myself just now?
I don't know, I
Oh,
got, like, a little crackle from you.
what happened? Oh my god, there's a delay.
Is there? Am I delayed now?
Not a delay, there's an echo of me. Oh, it's gone
I
now.
can hear it. Oh, okay, good.
Ignore that, didn't happen.
Ameet
Cut
Mathew
that.
said, "Excellent decision. Talk to your doctor, folks." I agree. Like,
If you
I
have
part
one.
of me and this is where I almost, like I learned the hard way. There was something I experimented with that I wanted to talk about so badly, and when I consulted with our lovely YFNA neighborhood, they were one in particular was like, "Dude, like, do you really want to endorse something like that and risk other people going and trying it because, hey, Ethan Michael tried it and it worked for him?" And I'm like, "No, definitely not." And then we got into the topic of medication because I started getting a lot of people messaging me after I said, finally found a good medication, wanting to know what I was on. I had
Mm,
to have, yeah, got a bunch, and I'm just sitting here like, well, what's the harm in telling them the medication I'm on? Well, again, we don't want someone going back to their doctor, um, saying, I want to be on what Ethan's on. So
I
trying to
want what
be
he's having.
right. Trying to be as responsible as possible with my platform. Again, sometimes I make mistakes.
Hey,
Um,
we're learning.
yeah, we learn, we grow. Um, we repeat
Play,
that we are
laugh,
not
grow. Sorry.
medical health professionals of any kind, and we are just two people offering our opinions. Um,
Yep. Just a
and by
couple
the
of
way, if you
assholes.
ever want to share a funny date story, the lines are always open for that, regardless of the topic. Like if you've had a humorous date or a funny pickup line, please 951-364-2430. You can always change the topic up and call us with those.
We will change the topic for anyone as long as it's like not like, does God exist? Because I'm like, I don't
We're
care to
not
have this
so
conversation.
this show should be a time where people can pull up and relax their brain and not leave here frustrated. So if you want to
Yeah, we're
call
not
and
gonna
have
talk about philosophy.
religion or philosophy, definitely not the show for you. It's not going to happen.
That's for your episode that you had on Tuesday. That was fun.
Dude, it was a good episode, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, no, that was great. I was like, "Ah, Steve, what a guy."
Right?
And so no, the thing
So,
about
so
I
the
think
sex life. So one more thing I wanted to say is,
sure.
at times losing intimacy, it can make you feel like your partner wants you less. And
Mm,
it's important to remember that the depression or medication can cause that. And that doesn't mean your partner necessarily wants you
yeah.
less. It just means they're going through a rougher time at the moment.
Yeah.
And if your sex life is being affected by your medication, hey, again, talk to your doctor about that too.
I need to do that.
Because I know there are, like, ADHD medications that just completely screw me up sexually, so I won't take them. Like, I'm not happening.
Yeah. So when it's interesting because, like, if your libido's lowered, like, don't you not care to have sex? Or you're like, "Oh, I can't," or is it okay,
It's
so
not that
maybe it's not
it's
your
not
libido,
that
it's just your penis.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, for
Oh,
instance, if I
okay.
take, uh I won't say what I take, but if I when
The
I was
thing.
taking another medication for ADHD, a stimulant, it just was not functioning. I couldn't orgasm. It sucked. So I'm like, I
Mm,
want nothing to do with those. So currently, I'm still like looking for another medication. My doctor's supposed to start me on some non-stimulant ADHD medications, which I really want to get started because I want to get my ADHD under control. Um, and be able to focus a lot more because I feel like over the past year, I have not learned as much as I should have. I'm surrounded by so many smart people, and I should know a lot more than I currently know. So
hey,
uh,
that's
I need to
alright.
be able to get that focus. I need to be able to work on my memory to retain things better. Um,
You're
yeah.
growing. Yeah.
Kevin Chaos says, getting laid makes me less depressed, but I can't get laid because I'm depressed. At least I think that's why. It
Ayo.
can be a circle, and that sucks.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Um,
But the good news is the pickup line is back, so we'll be back every Thursday. I think there's
for now.
only one, yeah, for now,
We'll see.
one potential date in January. I'm waiting for confirmation on something, but there is only one date we may miss, but hopefully we'll not miss any other
Ooh, I
episodes.
hope it falls into the same week that I'm not available.
I I well, I don't know. Ooh,
Anyway, we'll talk about it.
okay, we'll talk about
But you were talking about your medication, and this kinda goes back to, like, endorsing medication and stuff. I think that's just bleh, sorry. I want
What
a
was
whole
that?
I want a clip of me just fucking I'm just going, bleh. Oh, wah, so, anyway, I think what we are demonstrating is that, like, this is a process that, like, that's enough said. Like, this is a process on, like, getting help and finding what works for you and whether or not it involves medication and which one, blah, blah, blah. Like, it is a personal, very, uh, long process that you have to go through with a professional, because some people just, like, get it right the first time, but some of us don't, and, that's okay if I just say, "Don't give up hope." Um, keep trying. Uh,
Yeah, I've
keep
gone
looking for
through
what will do it for you.
yeah, I mean, had to go through a few different medications. Real quick, student Dr. Ben says, "Hi everyone, good
Hi,
news.
Ken.
Student Dr. Ben will be making his debut on YFNA this coming Tuesday on the Perspective with co-host and regular call screener Secular Rarity, and that
Oh my god, I'm
is
gonna
on
watch
this
that.
Tuesday. So I am actually looking, and if anyone knows, I am looking for an anti-vaxxer, someone that would be willing to uh, call the show because now we have a student doctor on that can
Anyone
properly
in my
investigate.
extended family?
Oh, there you go. Anyone in your extended family,
I don't
ask
talk
them
to
to
them
call.
anymore, so I couldn't send them this way. Not because they're anti-vax, it's 'cause they're fucking bigots, but anyway. And if you're in my extended family, I might not be talking about you, so don't take this personally. It's a specific section of it. Anyway, so, um, oh my gosh, how are we already almost at 10? That's crazy. I just wanna say that I loved meeting Ben so much. I don't think I ever got to say that, and I should just message him and
Same.
say that, but, like, I'm just gonna say this to the world, like, Ben is such a pleasant person. So definitely tune into, There's Perspective next Tuesday?
Ooh, that would be awesome if we could get an ivermectin call. I would love that.
Is that the horse thing?
Yes, but it is actually a human medication as well.
Alright.
For you know what? I'm not even gonna say what I think it's for in case I'm wrong.
Mm.
Student Dr. Ben, if you could specify what it's used for in the comments, um,
Horse
that would be
tranquilizer.
awesome.
No, that's ketamine. Anyway.
Also, I would like to thank the patrons bleh, our top tier patrons of the channel: Cindy Plaza, Kenneth Leonard, Skye, JumpandShoot, Oz, Secular Rarity, Philip Leitch, Kaitlyn Beyond, Toast, Richard Gilliver, Sunset Sarge, The Blazing Wizard Pope, Ameet Mathew, Ray Sylvester, Kyle Brewer. Thank you so much for your patronage. Uh, Ameet, thanks for the super chat. I'm interested in hearing the episode on asexuality. I suspect that I may be on the spectrum, but I feel guilty claiming to be a part of the LGBTQIA plus community when I've experienced none of the stigma. So
First of
if
fucking all, I bet
anyone if anyone in the comments section knows of any YouTubers in the atheist community who are asexual,
have you not been
please.
listening to me?
Well, yeah, but it'd be good if we had more guests, like a guest on.
No, I would love that. I would love that. And I'm not saying that I have to be the voice all the time, and I could use some I don't know anyone. I think I know one person who is either asexual on the asexual spectrum. I don't I've been if you know anyone who's on the spectrum or is asexual, please, like, message me because, like, I've been trying to figure this out. I'm just gonna, like, freaking say it. Like, it's interesting because some asexual people still have sex for many different reasons, and I could go definitely more into this in detail at another time. But yo, like, hit me up because like I would love to just like talk to someone who like thinks the way I do because I feel like I live on a different planet sometimes. That's okay. I'm not saying I'm better than everyone, even though I am. But anyway, it's just it can feel really lonely. So please be my
Ooh,
friend.
ooh, Godless Granny.
Is Godless Granny asexual?
I don't know. Kevin Chaos suggested her. That's something I'll have to.
All right.
I don't know. Can I? Is that appropriate to message someone and just be like, hey, by the way, are you asexual, or is that
We
like how
will
do I
do a
do that?
little bit more research before we go forward with this. We are
Okay.
not saying whether or not this individual is or isn't this,
Yes, because we have no idea.
sexuality because we have no idea. But it sounded like that was a suggestion. But no, that's something I really love to cover because this has been a journey, and I feel like every couple years of my life I have to go for a freaking like journey, and I'm like, can I? Dude, I'm like one of the only people in my 20s that's totally fine with becoming 30 because that's like when you're like, I got to figure it out. It's all
Oh,
good.
duh, dude. How
What?
did I miss this? Tangel.
What? Sorry for screaming.
Tangel's asexual. Let's bring her back.
And what's so interesting is she still engages in sexual activity.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? I do want to so Ameet Mathew, thank you for your super chat. I know we already kind of like said what it was, but I bet you have experienced some of the stigma without realizing it in a way, especially as a man who is expected to be a go-getter, hot to trot kind of guy. Um, I'm not gonna totally like assume that you have, but I'm just saying I have a feeling. And anyway, bro, just go to the website and jerk off.
Yeah, like
That's what our
what's
chats
with
say right
this,
now.
man?
This bot needs to get out of our chat, but it's totally appropriate for this. If you're wondering why I randomly yelled that, there is a spam bot in our chat who wants us to go to website to see some naked shit
Which
apparently.
we are not gonna go to.
Just
Man,
subscribe
time went
to
by
one of your
fast.
just subscribe to one of your friends' OnlyFans. Buy locally. Support local businesses.
Yes.
Subscribe to your friends' OnlyFans. They're not gonna feel like it's weird. They're gonna be grateful. No, maybe they
Are
will.
we
I
gonna
don't know.
do a few minutes in the after show?
Yeah, I'm super
Or
down.
oh,
'Cause
okay, cool. So, yes, it won't be long because I have food waiting, but we will do a few minutes in the Discord after show. So if you're watching now and you wanna join us and talk with us after the show, join the YFNA Discord. The link is in the description of the video, and then just go to the voice chat.
bro, just go to the Discord and jerk off.
So I say potentially we discuss asexuality next week if we can get Tangela on.
Alright.
Think
No,
about it.
I'm
Let me
thinking
know
about it.
if
I'm just thinking like I'm gonna be dude, this should just be called the oversharing show, dude.
we do
Sorry,
tend to overshare just a
mom.
little
You
bit.
already know all of this because we have a great relationship.
Dude, I
Go
wanna do,
kiss your
like
mom good night. Thanks, everybody.
I
Oh,
wanna do a full episode on swingers,
I thought we
and I wanna
did.
get a bunch of swingers on. Did we?
Should we just have
Did
like
we
a
really?
swingers, not a swinger sesh, a swinger live stream where we are not all getting together to fuck, but to simply chat about the lifestyle.
Yeah, dude, let's get a bunch of swingers together, we'll put them on the panel, and let's just all talk.
Round them up.
Yep.
Round them up. I'm waiting for you to end
Anyways,
this.
alright. I think that's the show for today. Hannah, you got anything else?
Good night.